Good morning. I'm going to call the Marion Township Board of Supervisors workshop meeting for December 26th, 2020 to order. The time is now 9:06 a.m. Present we have myself, Supervisor Irene Sileski, and Secretary Susan Staaby. I don't think Sue ever wants to run. It's early.
No, thank you.
First and foremost, Merry Christmas to anybody who celebrated that. Secondly, we are continuing to do these meetings via Zoom because of the concerns around COVID and the ongoing emergency declaration from Governor Wolf. We do have an emergency declaration here within Marion Township that we did back in April and extends until a time that the Board of Supervisors is confident that the emergency has cleared. Normally we do the Pledge of Allegiance as per the medium of teleconference. We're not going to be doing that because it gets muddled and complicated and confusing. Did we have any public comments that came in either by phone or by email, Sue?
I actually forgot to check this morning.
Okay. Okay. Well, we can address, if any that came in, we can address at the Thursday night meeting.
Okay.
I don't think there's any. It's okay. I don't think there's any way that you can really quickly, easily check that right now. So we'll do it Thursday night.
Okay.
There's no one else on the meeting. If anybody does come, we'll let them filter in. If they'd like a public comment at that time, we'll do it a little bit out of order just based on the circumstances. Okay, so the first actual item for discussion that we have is to adopt the 2021 budget. This was discussed and accepted at the November 19th Board of Supervisors meeting. It was then advertised in the Reading Eagle on November 23rd and was open to inspection by the public. We received no requests to inspect the budget and no inquiries around any other aspects of the budget. Based on the fact that we need to have that approved for the purposes of really the next couple things, I'll make a motion to adopt the 2021 budget.
Second.
Roll call. Peter.
Aye.
Irene.
Aye.
Okay. Next on the agenda is to adopt the 2021 real estate and streetlight tax rates. The real estate tax rate is continuing to be 2.0 mils, and the streetlight tax rate is being set at $0.65 per foot, so it's 65 cents per front foot. This is resolution 2020-9. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call. Peter.
Aye.
Irene.
Aye.
Okay. Next on the agenda is the County of Berks municipal tax sheet. We share printing costs and postage costs with the county for tax bills. The municipal tax sheet and contact information needs to be completed and sent back no later than December 31st. That's actually why we're doing this slew of things on the workshop meeting, is because if we do it at Thursday night's meeting, that will be December 31st. So we're going to be very, very close to the deadline on that. So I'll make a motion to supply the information to the County of Berks municipal tax group.
Second.
Roll call. Peter.
Aye.
Irene.
Aye.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is a complaint that we received. We did engage Kraft. Kraft looked over the property and did not see any exterior signs of issues as were outlined within the complaint. However, they will be in contact with the property owner just to review and go over any of those concerns to make sure there isn't actually anything there. So at this point, I don't think we have to take any further action. We received the complaint. We responded to the complaint in the standard fashion, which was getting Kraft to look at it and make sure that there's not any strange like fence feud things going on. And it seems to be in order. So we shouldn't have anything more with that unless there's additional questions from either the individual who lodged the complaint or the property owner. But we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. Next item on the agenda is the storm grate on Main Street that was damaged during the snowfall that we had. We received two quotes, slightly different grates. I actually personally like the cheaper of the two. don't know if you've gotten a chance to look those over, Irene.
I just looked at the grates themselves. The second one seems just a bit better.
Yeah, and ironically, that's the cheaper one.
Yeah.
So I'm all for getting that ordered if we haven't already. I did talk to Butch and I told him just to get it as soon as possible. So if he hasn't already gotten that ordered, I'll make sure that we get that ordered on Monday so that we can get that replaced. I don't like leaving a hole in the street open for any length of time. I know we have cones up and everything, but actually fixing it would be the preferred.
If I remember correctly, I emailed them back and said that's the one we want.
Oh, thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
I think I did that. I'll check on Monday.
Okay, very good. Okay, next item is the culvert.
So do you want to motion that or
Oh,
not?
Yeah. Well, I don't honestly don't know if we need to do that because it's like just road maintenance stuff, but I'll be happy to make a motion to purchase the steel bike grate to replace the one that was damaged in the snowfall.
Okay, just, yeah, I mean, I always say it's better to have a motion than not.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. Completely
Okay.
agree. So
Is there a
that'll be
second?
Second. Sorry, I keep on having to flip between pages on my computer because it's not cooperating with me. So I seem a little
Right.
distracted.
Do you have a second screen, Irene?
No, I'm
Oh,
I confuse you guys.
I have a really crappy old one. Do you want to just use that? It's
I'm
not
okay.
great, but it's more screen space.
No, I'll do. I didn't want to do a shutdown on my computer right now, so I'll do that later and reboot
Okay.
and see what happens. So,
All right, let me do roll call. Peter.
Aye.
Irene.
aye.
Next item on the agenda is the culvert on Sheridan Road. This is by Gerald Hoover's farm, 540 Sheridan Road. The hole there is getting bigger. I reached out to McCarthy Engineering after talking to the road crew, and they sent a diagram of what should be done to address the concern there and get it so that we don't have traffic being driven actively on that particular side of the road. I have one or two minor things that I think I'd want to do differently, and I got to talk to McCarthy to make sure that it's legitimately okay. I'd like to move the no truck traffic except local deliveries sign down further, closer to 422, because if they've already gone that stretch past Idris, it's going to be difficult for them to turn around. So I'd rather have that.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that too. They put one at 420, closer to 422, and then one at.
Yes. Yeah, I want to move where they have the signs out further before you get onto that stretch of road. That way you have an opportunity to either turn off or turn into Idris and turn around.
Because I know when they rebuilt that part of school, I had several nasty phone calls that people were driving down Sheridan, got to school, and had no place to turn around.
Yeah,
so.
I want to avoid that specifically. Other than that, I think it's definitely needed. And the next takeaway on that is I'd like to get McCarthy Engineering out there to give us essentially the breakdown of what we would need to do to fix it, to see if it's something that we need to try to get dirt and low volume gravel road grants for, or if it's something that our road crew can do themselves. I know a lot of times with culverts, because of the water running in under it, there's things that you have to observe. Certain times you have to block and redirect the water temporarily. And some of the things, just speaking honestly, maybe a little out of the scope of our expertise or our ability to do because we don't have the tools. But if it is something that we can have the road crew do, I would say let's maybe try to use some of the budget that we outlined in 2021 to address things like this, where we actually legitimately have roadways sinking. So first step is barring
and then
any.
The other thing, Peter, is the road crew did put millings in the hole the other day before it snowed, and so far it's holding.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good, but I don't have a huge amount of, like, nothing against the road crew, but I don't have a lot of faith in the milling staying there, because if it's sinking, they're just it's
right.
Sinkhole.
Right.
It's just gonna fall through at some point.
Right.
Especially if we have large trucks driving on it, that's going to be sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
So I think the first step is let's get the signage in place, and like I said, barring anything strange with the placement, the legal placement of the no truck traffic signs, I'm in favor of doing this with some minor adjustments. Irene, do you agree?
Yes, absolutely.
Just just for the air of safety, I'm going to make the motion that we reduce traffic in the problem area of Sheridan to 1 lane per McCarthy Engineering suggestion.
Second that. Do we have to worry about people removing those signs?
We're going to have to check up on it. It's
Yeah.
always a concern.
So
But-
it'll need to be like a drive-by pretty often. Can we let Tulpehocken Police know what we're doing also?
Absolutely. The other
Yeah.
thing we can do is we do have the Jersey blocks that the last time we did a one-way, we actually drug a couple of Jersey blocks up there because people can't move the Jersey blocks, but they can move sawhorses and cones.
Mhm.
So it might be a good thing to take an afternoon with the road crew and have them, because they have to do it one at a time, which is unfortunate, but take 2 blocks up there and just strategically place them across a lane so that you, no matter how hard you tried, you can't do that. So
Let me
and
do roll-
I
let
was
me
going to
do
say,
roll
I
call.
apologize, Sue. I kind of broke
That's
the,
okay, that's okay. Roll call, Peter.
Aye.
Irene.
Aye.
Okay.
Yeah, I just worry about safety issues, and I already had a resident tell me that someone moved the stuff previously. So.
yeah, no, that's actually why we bought extra the last time we had a road closure of the Jersey blocks, because we figured this was going to happen at some point. And if you put cones up, people just move them.
It just amazes me.
Yeah, like there was one of the other supervisors relayed to me at the time that he actually like saw somebody get out of their car, move the stuff and drive through, and he's just like, it's there. Why would you do that? But neither here nor there. We'll make sure that it's blocked off, and that the big thing is the signage to make sure that people are aware that there's an upcoming like one-way road with
Yeah.
stop signs, the flashers, the no truck traffic further back enough that you don't have people getting stuck up there going, oh crap, I can't turn around now.
Mhm.
So okay.
And
I'll,
that road, Butch and I had a discussion about big trucks don't drive on that road. And I said, oh yeah, they do. I followed one the other day,
Mhm.
a tractor trailer truck hauling a piece of equipment, so
Yeah.
yeah, they do.
yeah, it's a turn off of 422. So I'm sure
Yeah.
there's maybe less than some other roads in the township, but I'm sure there's plenty of big truck traffic that goes through there normally.
Yeah.
Okay. Road project for 2021. I still need to finish getting the bad spots measured. I actually took some time off next week, so I will probably do that at that point.
Okay.
Irene, I know your work schedule is kind of nuts right now because of COVID, but
Yeah,
if you-
I'm off starting Tuesday. I'm off
oh,
for-
nice.
so, yeah.
Very nice. So I'll try and connect with you, and maybe we'll take a quick drive and get that measured out. Western Berks Planning Commission, the November 17th meeting was canceled. Heidelberg Township actually submitted an amendment. The next meeting, which is going to also be a hearing, is scheduled for January 21st at 7 p.m. in Robazonia's Borough Hall. We will need to have a quorum for every township that is representing the joint zoning in order for this to move forward. So bare minimum 2 of us, ideally all 3 of us, should be present at that meeting. So if you haven't done already, please mark that on your calendar. That way we can get the joint zoning stuff completely in and done.
There.
Okay, good. Okay. Next up on the agenda is to approve the CPA auditor advertisements. We actually had appointed the auditing company based on some bids, requests for proposals that we had received. The accounting auditor code actually requires that we advertise in a newspaper, which we then did December 3rd, 2020. Per Andy, this kind of brings everything into proper alignment for the usual order of operations. So we now have a resolution to appoint Aikens Accounting, which we're going to do at the January 4th meeting. So no further action there. We're back in the clear. It was just kind of a misunderstanding or miscommunication on kind of the legal order of operations around what we had to do for that particular professional service. Next is the Bethel Marion Tulpehocken Open Space Plan. The final payment will be made. They'd like an approved resolution from each township to submit with the final paperwork. Our resolution is 2020-10. This is largely, I think, just paperwork. We could either approve it now or we can approve it Thursday night.
I'm fine with approving it now.
Okay. In that case, I will make a motion to approve resolution 2020-10.
Second.
Roll call, Peter.
Aye.
Irene.
Okay, next up is the website. We have been gradually submitting content to Civic CMS, and speaking truthfully, the last step is getting us trained so that we can go into final and then get it live. The stumbling block has unfortunately been my schedule. So now that I have a little bit of time off, I'm going to try to coordinate with Lisa from Civic CMS about getting that this upcoming week at some point when it works for everybody's schedules. The added bonus is I don't have to try to squeeze that in an evening because of my work schedule, so we could do it potentially during the day if there's a time that works for Sue and Irene and Jim.
Yeah, my schedule's usually all over the place.
I was going to say I'm usually deadlocked from about 6:30 in the morning until about 8 at night, so that makes it hard. Especially if I think Civic might be in no, they're in the same time zone. I know we had some things where like early evening worked for them, but like later evening didn't, and I completely get that. Nobody wants to do anything at 8 p.m., myself included. So I'll carve out some time and make sure that we get something scheduled so that we can get that finished out. Next item on the agenda is the old furnace. Essig actually was in, and they disconnected the old HVAC system on December the 15th. So progress there. At some point, really at our leisure or discretion, we can start removing the old furnace, taking pipes out now that they're drained, things like that. And per Sue, she did find the report that it is not asbestos on the pipes. So,
Well, it's interesting that the report says the ceiling was tested.
Oh, the ceiling. Okay.
And that's all it says.
Okay.
So,
and we should probably either wait and get somebody to look at those pipes and make sure, or when we get to that point, see if somebody can come in and do it just for that one small bit, just so that we avoid any hazmat concerns. Next up is the garage lights. I was out 2 weeks ago. I did about half of the garage lights with Butch. I'm going to be trying to get some time this upcoming week with Butch to go out and put the remainder in. It is very dark still in the greater side of the garage. We just didn't get to that for time reasons. So that'll be the next thing we attack. I do have to run an extension cord or something to reach the far end of the bay that we keep the trucks in, simply because the electrical cords that we have presently don't reach. But other than that, it's progressing. It's just a function of time. So rather than hire an electrician, I'll come out at some point this week and work on that, because that's essentially a zero cost for the township for that. Next up is the 2021 reorganization meeting for Board of Supervisors. This has been set for Monday, January 4th, 2021 at 7 p.m. It will be held on Zoom, just like the meetings have been. The auditors meeting, scheduled for January 5th, 2021 at 7 p.m. Will be held in the municipal building, but we will be recording it and putting it up on Zoom or YouTube in the same way that we have with the other township meetings. Okay, next is the terms expiring in January 2021. These are appointed at the reorganization meeting. Ryan Allgeier's position on the Planning Commission is expiring, but he is interested in serving another term. Franklin Troutman's term is expiring on the Planning Commission, and he is interested in serving another term. Charles Zeckman Jr. is expiring for the zoning hearing, and he is not interested in serving another term. Sue, have we gotten any interested parties to replace Charles Zeckman?
Nobody's responded at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I reached out to someone I know and I didn't get any response either, so I'll try again.
Okay, I think Jim was asking around in Stonecroft as well to see if there's anybody interested there, but worst comes to worst, if we don't find somebody, we simply leave the position vacant for the time being until we can find somebody. Zoning hearing, they don't meet tremendously frequently, but it is a very important function. So if we can find somebody that would be interested to do that, I would say we should do that as soon as possible, even if we miss the reorganization meeting as the deadline. Okay, next one is David Sadison. David Sadison is zoning hearing. He is interested in serving another term. And then Nancy Carrington, who is the vacancy board chairman, who is interested in serving another term. So really the only one, unless we've had anybody expressed any interest in any of the other positions that we really have to devote serious thought or effort to, is the zoning hearing vacancy. So I'll I'll ask around as well, but I hadn't gotten much interest from anybody that I had talked to about this. And even more importantly, beyond interest, is we want to try to find somebody who has either an interest or a knowledge in the actual zoning itself, so that they're able to make an informed and fair decision during those zoning hearings.
It'll be nice once the website is up, there'll be a little bit easier communication with residents, but that
Right.
also implies that people have computers in their homes too. So,
Yeah.
but I guess, we need to just make it known.
Bare minimum, it's another avenue that we can try and use to reach people.
Yeah.
Okay, next is the PSAT's 100th Annual Educational Conference and Exhibit Show. This is going to be held on April the 18th through the 21st at the Hershey Lodge. Registration opens January the 12th, 2021, and can be done online. The cost is paid by the township. There is, however, no price listed in the material. Last year,
I did find a price.
oh, okay,
I
good.
looked at it again, and it's $160 if you do it online per person, and $185 if you do it by mail or fax per person. And we can register up to March 26th. After March 26th, it's $210 per person.
Okay. So last year we authorized any interested supervisors, the secretary, treasurer, or road crew to attend the convention and to pay the registration cost and mileage. I see no issue with doing that same thing this year. I personally won't be in attendance for just scheduling reasons, but if you or Jim or Sue or any of the road crew are interested in going,
I don't see how they're even going to hold conference, because we're not going to be out of COVID, and there's going to be still the social distancing requirements and still the people per room requirements. So I don't see this happening in April.
Yeah.
I think they just, have the intention of holding it,
Yeah.
and with the ability to cancel it. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys, you still have to motion to approve who can
Yeah.
attend.
Yeah.
Even if they cancel it,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. But
Yeah, I personally don't have any problem allowing people to go if they have it, but if they cancel it, it obviously becomes a kind of
Yeah.
mute point.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
They asked, in the materials, it asked to appoint a delegate to attend.
No, there's a voting delegate, and
Oh,
that's appointed at the reorg meeting, and that's just so when they have they actually had have a meeting on Tuesday, I think it is, and where it's a formal meeting where they need a voting delegate from each municipality to hold up their little voting sign, and they pass resolutions and motions and all kind of stuff. And it's an actual meeting, and that's what that voting delegate is for.
So I'll make a motion to allow the supervisors, secretary, treasurer, and road crew to attend the 2021 PSAT's Annual Education Conference and Exhibit Show, paying the registration cost and mileage.
Second that.
Roll call, Peter.
Aye.
Irene.
Aye.
Okay, next up is should be the fee schedule. Yes, 2021 fee schedule for professional services. We did receive fee schedules from Kraft, McCarthy Engineering, Attorney Andy George, Attorney Keith Mooney. We are still waiting for our current SEO to send his rate sheets over. We would adopt the fees by resolution at the January 2021 Board of Supervisors meeting. So I know from looking it over, it looks like Kraft isn't increasing their rates, which is phenomenal. And I think I don't have last year's to look at right off the hand, but I think McCarthy Engineering is either the same or really close. Yeah, the only one that I'm real interested in is the SEO ones.
You're gonna That's
And that's the next number.
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
agenda.
that's, we'll kind of segue into that, but that's
Yeah.
really the only one that I'm really interested in, simply
Mhm.
because we're not really seriously considering going to a different property or like codes engineer or solicitor at this point in time. So that's largely it is what it is. And I think, like I said, a couple of them didn't change, a couple of them changed small amount. So the next item is the professional services. We did receive some solicitation letters from a couple of people around SEO services, and Alan Madera of Burks Envirotech, and Jeremy Bentz from JB Environmental Services. So I want to go, absolutely.
It's okay. We called Acela. Acela can separate out their SEO from the general engineering services, and they did send us an hourly rate. Forgive me, I don't have the numbers in front of me because I have to click. I believe they said $80 or $85 an hour. It might have been 83. So they, a couple of, oh God, Sue, who else?
Theirs was 83.
83.
And then Jeremy Bentz said in the letter he doesn't have the ability or staff to administer the inspection / pumping notifications and record keeping portion. He would like to be our SEO, but he doesn't have the ability to do the inspections.
Did we got something from Chris Paff, didn't we?
And then we got from Chris Paff. Yeah, that should be after the Daniel Whitchak is from Acela. And then Chris Paff, there's an email, and he says hourly rate for my services is $85. And he is one of our alternate SEOs at the moment. Now, I did talk to Wayne Bowen, who's helping out Matthew Mack. Matthew Mack is also one of our alternate SEOs. And he was going to have a chat with, Wayne was going to have a chat with Matthew Mack and see if they could work something out between the two of them. I haven't gotten anything from them yet.
Yeah, and I've called Chris a couple of times. So I think he sent us information though, didn't he?
Yeah, Chris was $85 an hour.
Yeah, I'd really like to see the full, like $85 an hour is a good ballpark figure, but I know with the rate sheet, there's things for like doing soil probes or this or that or the other thing. I'd like to see a 1-to-1 comparison.
Well, Chris's email was interesting in that he said he works full time for Maxi-20. He's off on a Friday, so he could do us on a Friday. Well, that's all well and good, but what if that doesn't work out scheduling wise for some people? I mean,
yeah.
But just an FYI, keep in mind.
Yeah. In advance of the reorg meeting, I'd like to get a packet together just around the SEO stuff so that we have everything front and center for comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Also, welcome to the meeting, Jim.
Thank you.
Hi, Jim.
Good morning.
Okay, so we can collectively work on getting everything assembled. And like I said, doing a side-by-side comparison. I would love to have everything laid out in a table format to say, like, this is Gary's rate for soil probes. This is Chris Paff's rate for soil probes. This is Daniel Whitchak's rate for soil probes. This is their mileage rate. This is this, that we can just look at it directly next to each other and go, okay, this is the one we want to go with. We also have to temper that with the pros and cons of like that one gentleman that's really only available on Fridays. Irene, you were going to say something?
No, I can work on that. We had just made some phone calls. It was, I can't remember what day. What day was it, Stu? Was it Tuesday or Wednesday? I can't even remember.
I don't know because I'm confused about what day it is.
I know. Yeah, the last day I was down at the office.
I think it went on Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah, we had made some phone calls and just cobbling some stuff together. So, yeah, as soon as I'll stop down at the office, get all the information and paper in front of me and put something together so we're able to compare. That's what we wanted to do before the meeting. And like at the last minute, Stella, I called them and they sent over something quick. So I'll be able to do that.
Yeah, no worries. I completely understand. Let me know what day you're going to go in and do that, because I'm going to pop through and grab a couple of financial things out of QuickBooks. I had sent you an email that the stuff you sent over was good, but I think 1 or 2 tabs just didn't get saved or something.
No. I couldn't find the template, so I was like,
yeah. No worries. But I'll pop through and I'll quick grab that. Otherwise, the financials for last month are done. for Jim, since you missed out on the first part of that conversation, we're talking about the fee schedules for 2021. We got stuff from Kraft, McCarthy Engineering, Attorney Andy George, Attorney Keith Mooney. We are, however, waiting for the rate sheet from Gary Erb, who is our current SEO. And we're also looking at other rates for SEOs. And we want to do a direct comparison for that particular service.
Makes sense.
Okay. If we don't have anything else more on that particular subject, we'll go on to the next item on the agenda, which is the donation requests that we have received for 2021. We have the Berks County Conservation District, the Conrad Weiser High School Class of 2021 Graduation Party, the Crime Alerts Berks County, and the Wilmersdorf Community Library.
Are we able to make suggestion for a donation?
Absolutely.
In light of how COVID has adversely affected our community, I'm just going to double check. I'm pretty sure Helping Harvest is a 501c3. And if we could make a donation in that direction to help other people in our community who are less fortunate who don't have access to adequate food supplies.
I like it. It's a very good idea.
Yeah. To give, do a little bit more for the community.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all for donating to really any local food bank. I know a couple of them actually recently consolidated into Helping Harvest.
Yeah, I know the greater Berks County Food Bank is now Helping Harvest. So.
Okay. Yeah, I'm all for that. So we just have to figure out what we want to do in terms of amounts. Usually at the reorg meeting, we have the amounts that we did.
The next item on the agenda is.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I'm blind. It's right there.
That's okay. That's okay.
I could
This
tell.
part is always confusing in the meeting.
Yeah.
I could tell you what happens last year because of the change in treasurer and the turning over of personnel, etc. A lot of these donations did not get made. In part is because I didn't have paperwork to write out the checks and time went by. So I think the total budget for donations, quote me if I'm wrong, was $1,500, but I'm not 100% sure. So I would say most of these donations were not actually made. They weren't, the checks weren't physically written out.
Okay.
So
well, let's it's better late than never. When we're in the office this week, let's get any that we didn't do sent out for 2020.
Yeah.
And then we'll
is I didn't have any contact information. There was, I hate to say it's easier if they send a form with it and a return envelope. I had no paperwork, I had nothing, and I couldn't tell you what happened to those materials because it took over the treasurer's position really in March and April.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll close any gap that we can on that, and we'll go from there. But I don't have a problem with a similar amount. The ones that are on the sheet that we had for approved donations for 2020 were Berks County Conservation District, Berks County Library, Berks Nature, Center for Excellence in Local Government at Albright College, Conrad Weiser Area School District Mini-Thon, Conrad Weiser High School Class of 2019's Graduating Party, Crime Alert Berks County, and the Wilmersdorf Community Library. So I'm perfectly okay with that, as well as potentially adding Helping Harvest onto that. Let me actually scroll around in the budget here.
Yeah, it's $1,500.
Yeah, that's what we have budgeted.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know I wrote a check for Selig and for the Wilmersdorf Library. Those are the two I'm pretty sure that I wrote checks for, but I couldn't tell you what got done prior to that. I could always go in the system and figure it out.
Okay. Do we want to maybe adjust what we had last year for donations so that we can include like $100 to Helping Harvest or $150 to Helping Harvest? The one thing that immediately jumps out at me is the Conrad Weiser High School Class Graduation Party. Because of COVID, there's a very good likelihood that they're not going to be having an actual like in-person party. That's $50 that we could free up and donate to Helping Harvest pretty easily. Likewise, if we reduced maybe like the Berks Nature down to $200, between the two, that would be $100 that we could give to Helping Harvest.
Yes.
So, Jim, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's fine. Sounds good.
Okay. Make a couple of notes here for myself. Okay. Okay, we'll do that. So I guess we'll approve the donations on Thursday night's meeting. Last item is the Act 537. I had previously sent a memo over to McCarthy Engineering to pass over to the DEP. Around the on-lot management ordinance, the letter is just about done. I'm working on getting the mail merge completed. The list you had sent me, Sue, was very helpful. What I did, I filtered down everything so that we have the owner's information for the purposes of addressing the letter and the envelope and the actual property address. So the two are now distinct. They're neatened so that it is the full address for the purposes of using a label. I did some stuff so that it actually has the person's name in the right order. So it's not like last name, comma, first name and first name. It's first name and first name, last name. So I'm getting that finished up, and I'm going to circulate a little bit of a just kind of an introduction letter that we can include too, since we're going to have a couple of things in there, one about the joint zoning, one about the on-lot management ordinance, and just a thing generally around 2020 and COVID and everything else, just as a kind of friendly hello before we get into the weeds of the administrative stuff that we need to send out to people. So I'll be hopefully getting that circulated either tomorrow or Monday, depending on what my schedule here is on a personal note, but we should have that in place that we can start cranking out letters and getting them in the mail in the next like 5 to 7 days.
After reorg.
Yeah.
Because this week is a crunch for me again, and then I have reorg Monday, next Monday, so.
Well, yeah, I meant specifically not you, Sue, but like if we got Dan into the office for, okay, we need to print things out and stick them in envelopes, and that's something any of the other of us can do, since you're going to have your hands full with getting everything else ready for start of year.
Yeah.
So big thing is finishing the content, making sure that everybody is a-okay with that, and then we'll start printing. Okay. Irene, Jim, do you have any comments around Act 537 or any of the other items that go along with it?
No. Thank
Yeah.
Okay. That concludes our agenda items for today's meeting then. I don't have any additional comments. Anything that I would comment on, we've actually already discussed. Irene, do you have any comments?
Yes, on the second set of items that Sue had sent over, forgive me, I just have an email. The Marion Fire Company was asking for a waiver of the.
I was going to bring that up at mine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If you want to, that's okay. So they're asking for Marion Fire Company is submitted a permit to build a room inside their engine house to make a meeting room, because they sold the property at 85. They have nowhere to meet, is what they told me. They're asking for waiver of the permit fees for that meeting room construction. So you just have to say yes or no. They have already submitted the permit and the fee. I don't know if that check was deposited or not, but they're requesting waiver of the fee.
Okay, we'd be able to waive potentially our fee, but we wouldn't be able to waive Craft's fee without us just paying for it out of pocket as a township. So the real question is, do we do that in the effort of the service, or do we say we'd like to, but we're sorry, it's not really something that's feasible?
They also had, when Gerald dropped this letter off, he had asked me if we could waive the permits, period. And I said, no.
No. No, that is very much not a thing that you can do.
Right.
Maybe we should ask Kraft if they'd like to make a donation as well.
Good.
That's a thought. I would almost put I don't want to say the responsibility, but the ask back on the fire company that they sent us a very short handwritten letter on sort of stationery, but to send something similar to Kraft, hopefully with a little more, I don't want to say fluff, but a little more content to it, saying like that we're rebuilding a new room, blah 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 blah. we'd like to ask for the fees to be waived, or a donation in the cost of the fees that would be normally associated with this from Kraft. Have them, excuse me, have them ask rather than have us place the ask.
Good
If-
idea. Yes.
If Kraft's willing to do that, I'm, as a township, willing to waive our component of it, which is, truthfully speaking, the much smaller component of that cost. I don't have any problems there, but it just becomes problematic when we start paying for other people's fees, essentially.
Right.
Even though we already pay for their insurance and a whole bunch of other stuff, but it's just, it goes down an avenue that I don't necessarily know that we want to go down, because it sets a precedence for other stuff.
If you do it once, they're going to expect you to do it again and again.
Yeah. So
I will make this an agenda item. It came in after I had the agenda made up. So
that's fine. That's fine.
At the end like that.
I didn't mean to hijack your.
No, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
Because I was there when he stopped in really briefly.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I do have one more issue, and that was a notice that we got from Eagle Disposal. And Sue, help me not misquote this. They're not quite sure if they could continue to provide services. If something along those lines.
I don't
There
have
might
it
be interruption.
in my folder, but I think it's basically the same thing they put out in
because of
the
COVID.
beginning of COVID about keeping
Yeah.
their workers safe, and their priority is to pick up municipal trash first, which I guess would be us, the township.
Yeah,
I emailed that to everybody, but I don't have it with me, so I
Yeah.
can't say exactly what it said.
I'll be honest, I read it and I didn't pay it a whole lot of mind, because it was basically a
Yeah.
Xerox of the one that we got back in like March.
Yeah.
And the heart and soul of it is that if they have a situation where like all their drivers get COVID, they're going to still try to pick up trash, but if they don't have people on the trucks, they don't have people on the trucks.
So it creates a contractual issue for us, and it's a sanitary and health and safety issue for us too. So honestly, they haven't been the greatest at communicating their ends of things to the residents. I can tell you just about everyone on my block complains about the garbage pail issue, from them destroying their personal garbage pails to just dropping off the new ones that they thought would resolve the issue. So this is something I think at some point we should just ask Andy, what happens if there is a disruption in services? What on our ends of things, I can't think of the word.
So you're asking what's the credit that we get for them doing essentially a breach of contract.
But also, yes. And so, because I'm pretty sure the original contract probably doesn't have a pandemic clause in it, because no one anticipated this.
Yeah.
So, what is our remedy for that solution? And I think it's something that we may have to get Andy involved in. If they had sent the letter once, I would be okay. This is sending the letter twice. And so it makes me a little bit more nervous about a possible disruption in services, with trash essentially piling up in front of people's homes, because sooner or later there will be enough that people will not retract their garbage pails and put them next to their houses. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a fair point. Let's get Andy on it.
Right. And I'm sure this issue happens, you hear about it now and then again in larger cities, but we are a smaller municipality, but at the same time, we still want to protect the health, safety, and welfare of our residents.
Absolutely.
That's all I had, I think.
Okay. Jim, do you have anything?
Yeah, I think you're going to have to send them something, because you're right. If we don't want garbage piling up on the streets, so
It
you
was
must be
just
really concerned.
Yeah, an anticipatory kind of, hey, by the way, we might not be able to do that, which always makes me nervous. So
Yeah.
They
must know something we don't.
yeah.
I think they're covering bases. I think it's nothing more than CYA on their part. But if you have a situation where that is a potential problem, you need to try to figure some other way out to continue delivering the service.
Yeah.
So
it troubles me, because the last company would robocall everyone with a delay, with any disruption, and this company has had no communication with the residents. And personally, I'll be furious if I've got to pay for a service that's not being rendered. So, there's a couple of questions in there that we need to ask Andy, I think.
Okay.
Agreed.
Any other additional comments, Jim?
No, I agree.
Okay. Sue, do you have anything?
Just the other thing was the quote for the Snow King plow spring assembly.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for
thing.
jogging my memory on that. I completely forgot about that. The plow that we have on the John Deere tractor, Butch was looking at it, and it looks like the two control arms for the actual plow are degrading, or to the point where they're held together by a women of prayer. So the parts themselves are about $580 a piece. We need 2 of them in order to fix this. And yes, it's quite a bit of money, but we do have the budget for it. And I'd much rather fix it now before it completely falls off of it while we're trying to plow snow than the alternative. So I'd like to, I'll make the motion now to order those parts from Mid-Atlantic Municipal for a total of $1,161.14. There may be freight charges on top of that, but they weren't able to give us the cost of freight when we got the estimate.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Yes, Irene seconded.
Oh, okay. All right, roll call. Peter.
Aye.
Irene.
Aye.
Jim.
Aye.
And just for clarification, that was their letterhead says Mid-Atlantic Municipal, but it's Lancaster Truck Bodies.
Ah, okay.
So it is a sort of
Yeah.
local.
Okay. If you want to maybe bracket that in the motion.
I'll put both.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, at this time, there are no other items or comments or anything that we have. So I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas for those who celebrate, and have a Happy New Year. I'm sure I'll be in contact with you, each and every one of you, for some reason throughout the week. But if for any reason I'm not, Happy New Year, stay safe, and send along my best to each and every one of your families.
Thank you,
Thank
Peter.
you.
Thank you. I apologize for being late. I thought it was Monday.
No worries. So I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting. The time is now 9:53 a.m.
Second.
Roll call. Peter.
Aye.
Irene.
Aye.
Jim.
Aye.
All right.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.